Hey friends, it's Neil here from Post to Post. I want to talk to you very quickly about the commish, Gary Bettman. Some news was released a couple of days ago, kind of his departure, but not right now. Okay, it's going to happen in a couple of years, and the information was, I don't know if it was released with his authority. I don't know if he necessarily wanted people to know publicly yet, but now we know. So Gary Bettman is planning on retiring in the next couple of years. And the NHL, and specifically the board of directors and the NHL as a business, is preparing for it. Now, Gary Bettman has had a long tenure in the NHL as commissioner back in, I think it was 1993, like near the beginning of the year in 1993. That's how long he's been the commissioner for since then. I think I was, if you do the math, I think I was 7 in 1993. So it's been a while. It's basically my entire life almost of the same commissioner. And when I was 7, I didn't know what was going on in the NHL in terms of business and commissioners and all that stuff. So I think that this is probably, like my quick opinion, this is 15 years overdue. I think that this probably should have happened before the lockout in that half-year lockout in, was it 2012? Something around there. And I think we're to the point now where we're so ready for this to happen that it just needs to happen. Now, we've discussed good old Gary Bettman quite a bit on the channel. That's why I have this photo here. It was in the background of our podcast for a while. It's a bit of a meme, right? Like, I'm not a huge Gary Bettman fan, but I'm also objective. He has done some good things for the NHL, so I keep this here mainly as a meme in the background. You probably haven't seen it. It was over there for a bit, kind of hidden. But anyways, Gary Bettman, I think, has... The reason that people don't like Gary Bettman is because he's not authentic, he's not relatable, he comes off a bit smug. He's just not very likable in terms of a person, and a lot of fans see right through his BS. And that's the primary reason that I don't like Gary Bettman, is that he's not authentic in terms of what he says is not what he does. There's a saying when it comes to politicians, it's watch what they do, not what they say. And Gary Bettman's a lot like that. For example, I'll go back to, I think it was around 2013, 2012, 2014, maybe around there. There were conversations around the advertising rights, or sorry, television rights in Canada, and who was going to take over. This was, I think, a transition between CBC and Rogers. And one of the big pain points and complaint points back then was blackouts. I can't watch the teams that I want to watch. If I'm in the zone of a certain team, I can't watch that on a different channel or whatever. Like what's going on? Why are you blacking out? Do you not want me to watch your product on ice? Like, do you want me to be a hockey fan or not? Do you want me to watch your sport, or do you want me to go watch another sport that I can easily watch on TV? That was a huge conversation point back then. And it was recently as well. And fans were so in favor of Rogers taking over because Gary Bettman announced that the deal had in place no blackouts. You could watch whatever game you wanted, whenever you wanted. Well, not whenever you wanted, but you could watch your team regardless of where you were in the country. You didn't have to be in a specific zone or anything like that. Blackouts would go away. That didn't actually happen. And in fact, we still have blackouts today, and it's one of the primary reasons that NHL viewership is down. We made a video about that last year, and we talked about it. And I think that, as an average fan, if you just want to watch your team play, but you're in a situation where you can't due to a blackout, are you going to invest extra money? Like, if you're already paying for money to get the NHL package or whatever, which has blackouts in it, and you're still not able to watch your team play, are you going to invest extra money to figure out how to watch it on a different streaming platform or whatever? Or are you going to disconnect from the NHL entirely because you're maybe a bit of an average fan, you don't really watch any of the other teams play, you just want to watch your team play? Or are you going to maybe go the pirate direction and watch it for free online, which is whatever. I'm not going to comment on that, but I'm just saying that the NHL does not make the NHL easily watchable in terms of blackouts and stuff. And I think that is a huge problem. It was a problem back in 2012, 2013. It's a problem today. It was a problem during COVID, and it's going to be an ongoing problem until they actually stop it and give us the games everywhere, regardless of where we live in the country, what teams consider the home team. Blackouts are completely ridiculous. It only hurts the sport and the product. And I think the NHL, and specifically Gary Bettman, has failed hockey fans in that regard. Another example of lies from Gary Bettman is during the pandemic. And that was when they tested or not tested, but they put the ads on helmets. And they said, whoa, okay. We understand that you guys are upset. We're putting ads on gear. Product placement on gear is that's not really okay. And we understand that. But it's the pandemic. We've lost quite a bit of money. We want to recoup some of that money. So we're just going to put it on the helmets. We're just going to put these logos and these ads on the helmets for 1 year, for one season, and then things can go back to normal. Did that happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There are still ads on helmets, and there's ads on jerseys now. Something that was never supposed to happen. But here we are. And who told us that wouldn't happen? Gary Bettman. He is not authentic. Watch what they do, not what they say. So Gary Bettman, he loses a lot of fans that way. And not Gary Bettman fans, NHL fans. I don't know if there's any actual Gary Bettman fans. But he loses a lot of people that way. He says something and then does something else. Or he says something that's maybe a lie, but we take it as truth. And then we get disappointed when it doesn't actually happen. So there's a reason that Gary Bettman isn't very popular. And I've named, 2 or 3 in this video? There's probably about 25. There's tax implications and rule changes and all kinds of stuff that's happening and from a business perspective and from a game side of things that we could discuss as well. The point of this video, the point of this conversation is that it's time for Gary Bettman to go. It was time 15 years ago. 3 years, 2 years in the future isn't soon enough. 15 years ago is when it should have happened. My hope isn't necessarily that things get reversed, because I think, now we got the ads on the helmets and the jerseys. I think they're here to stay. I don't think a new commissioner is going to change that. I don't think a new commissioner is going to end blackouts. I think that is probably part of the Rogers contract for a gazillion years or whatever it is. However, my hopes, my wishes is that it's someone younger, someone who's not an old crony and not going to be a puppet for the board of directors and owners, and can actually inject some life back into the NHL. And because they're losing fans and viewership is down, and Gary Bettman has only exacerbated that issue. He's only made it worse. And I think we have to get someone in that position that's going to really grow the game, and someone with a bit of youth. And I'm not talking Wayne Gretzky, okay? Wayne Gretzky is as old as Gary Bettman, basically. Not really, but basically. Wayne's fine, I guess. I don't know him, obviously. I don't know Gary. I saw him in person once. But I'm saying that we need to have someone with some youth in there. And I'm not talking someone who's 20. I'm talking someone who understands the youth, who understands the environment, the media right now, and someone who isn't going to be afraid to take a couple of risks. Not necessarily in rule changes or anything like that, but just in terms of growing the game and have actual recognition of what fans want moving forward. Congratulations to Chicago and St. Louis and Boston for all these outdoor games and specialty games. That's great, but we'd like to see some fairness in the NHL. Where's the games for those teams that haven't had one in a long time or who have never had one? Now, yes, Columbus has had one coming up, which is great, but still, there are teams who have deserved one for a long time and who haven't got one, who have been in one in the past and who have not been back in one in a very long time. So I think that is maybe an easy win for the new commissioner, is to really inject some fairness into how the teams are chosen and where the games take place. Maybe implement some new series as well. Maybe do some stuff with jerseys. I don't think the rules need changed a lot. I think there's some cap and long-term injury stuff that probably needs to be tightened up a little bit so teams can't circumvent the cap and stuff like that. But overall, I think, I feel pretty confident that I am in the majority opinion here, where I'm not a huge fan of Gary Bettman, and he really should have been gone a long time ago. But I wouldn't be objective if I didn't say that he has done good things as well. He's done a lot to grow the game in certain aspects, so I'm not saying that he's all bad. He's definitely done some good things. So I think it's responsible to be fair and call out his failures or whatever you want to call them, but also recognize that he has done some good things as well. So I don't know. Personally, I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait until the transition happens, whether it's next year, 3 years from now. It needs to happen, and I'm really curious to see who's going to take his place and what their plan is, what their mission is, their goal. I want to see heavy communication from that person moving forward, and I want it to be someone who's truly likable and authentic and relatable to the average hockey fan. That's what I would absolutely love. So whenever that gets announced, whether it's in a year or 3 years, we'll absolutely talk about it on the channel. So if you're new and you want to see that in the future, hit the subscribe button. If you did enjoy this video, this little conversation, hit the like button. And most importantly, let me know down below in the comment section How do you feel about Gary Bettman now? How do you feel about what he's done for the NHL? And who do you want moving forward to take his place and to be the new commissioner of the NHL? Who would you love to see in his shoes for the next decade, 2 decades, or whatever it is? I would love to hear your opinion down below in the comment section. Hope you guys are having a great day, and we'll talk to you in the future for sure, very soon. Adios.